I'm Sophie. I'm a student at UVM, and it seems to me like there's like a very broad culture for cars, and even if we implement all these different policy ideas, like there still has to be consumer choice involved in that process. So I was wondering, like, if you drive through Shelburne, you see like all those car companies and like all the cars they put out are like huge SUVs and trucks, because that's what consumers want. I was wondering if there's any like statewide program that incentivizes like electric cars for people, consumers, maybe even like students or something like that, to really like initiate that switch. Because if they see like more electric cars on the road, then they'll like kind of adopt that idea. But right now there's like maybe I see one a day, and so there's really no like broad perspective or community base that's like going through this transition.
Senator Rex?
There's finger pointing and things that are distracting. But it's interesting timing that you would ask. So the legislature did authorize and appropriate funds to create for the first time a state-funded electric vehicle incentive program. It is likely to be more formally announced actually on Monday or Tuesday this week. And that would initiate people being able to get that exactly that kind of extra inducement to bring down the cost that you're describing. The challenge in terms of electrifying the vehicle fleet is huge. We have roughly 3,000 electric vehicles on the road. Anyone who's seen Jared Duvall's presentation knows that doesn't quite get at the 60,000 that we have to be at in a few years. So it is that culture change that you're describing. But I do also want to reflect that one of the things the Senate committee did last year and was ultimately adopted was made sure that low-income people, especially in rural areas, could access high-efficiency vehicles that might be used hybrids and things like that. Because for some people, and I'll use my own personal experience, I lucked into a free car that was a terrible environmental performer that probably got 15 to 18 miles a gallon. I replaced it with a used hybrid that gets about 50 miles a gallon. And for many people in Vermont, that's the realistic vehicle that they're going to purchase. So we want both to promote the electrification, but for all those who aren't yet going to get there because they can't afford to do it, and we don't have the ability to give the incentives that would get them there, we should be thinking about strategies that improve their environmental performance. So as Peter said before, we're in this transition phase, and it's not going to be all electric yet. You know, there's probably down the line, but we have to be thinking about both of those sets of Vermonters.
So the other piece that you got to is sort of the cultural acceptance piece. Our automobiles are for better or worse, are a extension of ourselves. They're marketed that way, right? That's the goal of car companies, is to get you to purchase something you want to drive. You want to be seen driving it. We've got somewhere to go for people to have that same level of acceptance of electric vehicles, but that's growing, and the more people see them and see their friends in them and see their neighbors and get a chance to drive them for themselves and realize, whoa, the Tesla has no dashboard, and that's kind of crazy for me right now, but I'm getting over it, but it's a little while. And realize that they are really fun vehicles to drive. That piece will change. The other piece is that we need the vehicles with the kind of capacity that Vermonters need in their everyday lives. There are very few right now with all-wheel drive. There are very few with the kind of ground clearance that we would need to see to drive on mud season roads in Vermont. Like that's a real concern that we need to get through. And the major manufacturers are getting there. It's just consumer demand will drive that faster than anything else, and we need to help that consumer demand move along because there are a number of hurdles. And I think the piece around acceptance will grow exponentially once there are more opportunities available. And so right now there are great things to be done, not necessarily in the full battery electric space, but in the plug-in hybrids and some of the other hybrids where there are more opportunities to get the emissions reductions we'd like to see, and some other choices.